Welcome back to Barrel Brothers, and today we're back on the Cappuccino Viperccino. I thought, because now that I've sort of fixed this up, I'm going to sort that out a bit better. It's pretty covered in crap, but I wouldn't mind trying to fit it on to the car. And before I do that, I need to like clean it up a little bit. It's pretty crappy. So I thought I might do that, and we've got to cut the guards too, but I have come up with a solution. Now, that's the normal place for a Viper indicator, except that they sit around the front more like this. If you're in front, you know, it's not really visible. And I thought, I'm going to get done like that, and I needed to find something to fill these holes up anyway, which I have in the form of these, which may look familiar to you from such places as there. I went round and saw my auto electrician, and he gave me these. And the idea was to very carefully drill that, put these guys in with an LED, then we're going to have that behind there with an LED in it, extra indicator. I've got no real excuse not to put the front end on now, because well, the plan is to, we take that indicator out of the guard and put it here, and then we'll fill the hole that sits in the guard, have the indicator here and there, and we'll run these two off of the circuitry for the indicator in the front bar. That one's got a little bit of mucking around to do. I've got to get the number plate light to work on it somehow. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that unless I run the number plate at an angle. There's the hole for it sort of there. Our number plates are huge and it won't fit in there. I think our reverse light should fit into this slot here, which we'll go out and have a look at the car. See, our reversing light's that one there, but look at the size of these bloody number plates. It's massive. Drug deals. I was just going to hop in the car and bring it in, but we've got a bit of a problem. I have trouble driving it with my boots on. It's freaking hilarious to drive, it really is. Okie dokie, Saturday morning, and we've just spent some hours last night getting this sorted out. So we've got the lights mounted, basically ended up turning the brackets 180 degrees. Our biggest drama has been getting this little area here lined up, because as you can see, it's a very different shape. So we need to sort all that. I mean, the rear is going to be a bloody nightmare because it actually sticks out quite. That's the original body line. You can see that bulge there, whereas that's what it doesn't do down here. All right, the new one comes down to about there and then goes out here. So basically these bolt holes are all going to be gone, and that's going to be out like that. I'm pretty pleased with how that's coming along actually. This has only got about half the screw, the mounting points too, so we've still got a little bit of movement here, and you see that moving through there. It's probably why that's cracked, so we might have to do something there to strengthen that up. But I figure we've got to make, like, a lot of the strength in the old one came from this bracket here. There's a screw on the back of it, so I think we might make up a little bracket that screws into there, and then we can put a couple of screws, like one in there and one in there, to hold this solid. It's fairly solid now. Whoever had it before has like screwed some, or put some holes in through the body into a screw that sits on the inside there, but there's about that much gap between that and the inside there. So well, these screws, you know, they've had two goes at it here and they don't line up, and this one here definitely doesn't line up. I've got the indicators in there already, and I need to get the bulbs for these ones, but I think we can hook that up. The one other thing that I did was I tried out the number plate on it, and it looks horrible. It's just too big, even down there. So we're going to have to get, before I drive it anywhere, we're going to have to get it swapped over to the little black and white versions, which are on the Sunny truck. You'll see here. See, they're quite a bit smaller. That's the plan, because this thing is just huge and horrible. It's not doing it for me, I'll tell you. And the plan is to put it here, just along the front there, rather than up here, because that just seems to obscure everything. So we're going to have to take these guys out probably when we make that little bracket for the centre up. Let's get some electrics on it. Because this front end is pretty low, we can't actually now get our low jack under it, which is a bit annoying, because the jacking point on these is actually like here, which is quite a bit away from the front of the car. There's like a central jacking point. There's one in the back too. So they're quite flimsy, a lot of these K cars, so you've got to be careful where you jack them up. So I made myself up some quick jacks on the bandsaw with a block of wood. Took all of about 5 minutes until I nearly drove off the end of them. So I just made up some ends to go on them and stuck it on with a bit of glue and some screws I could find around the place. Well, that seems to have worked quite well. Ignore that number plate. That's just, if we swap that over. So I think we'll probably actually get away with that, because the car's going to be red and then there'll be the fat white stripes up there. I think we'll probably get away with that. Or we could do a red and white number plate. Question is, what do we put on it? I think it's pretty obvious, honestly. The indicators are, that's the hazard lights on. The indicators, it's flashing fast because there's not enough load on it yet. We've taken one away. So we'll have to put a, I don't know, resistor or something, or I'll get more of an electrician to do that and slow it all down. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how that works. Starting to take shape. The Viperccino, it's getting some Viper vibes to it. So as it turns out, if you're doing the diff bushes on your Cappuccino, there is quite a nice kit available from England. It does everything for you. That's the one that goes in there, and then these guys here go into here and here, and that is the cross member. The diff bolts to that, like that, and then that sits at the back here. Now you're saying to yourself, I thought you did that. Yeah, well, this is my spare one. So my plan today is to get these guys out, because I need them right out, blast this, and then I think we'll give it a hit of powder coat in something, I don't know, fetching black. The definition of black is the absence of colour. And white is all colours, which is why you get rainbows, you know, and shafts of sunlight, and split up into all the colours, because all the colours are in it. So what I did is I got the press and just like broke that piece out, and then basically just belted that using this delicate instrument here, and this, which is an old core from a plastic machine bit. Well, there it is in all its powder coated glory. Actually, you've heard me say this one before. If you can keep your hand on something comfortably, and it's not about, look, I can stand it longer. It's less than 40 degrees. Well, let's just test that out. Very nice flat surface. It's still quite warm. 37. And I can put my hand on there, no drama. It's just warm, but it's not burning me. All right, so according to the destructions here, as my son used to call it, I've got to put these together with washing up liquid or tyre soap. So these guys have got to fit in there, and then that goes down the middle, and then the washer goes on the top. I better get stuck into it, because it's the vehicle I'm driving home today, because I don't have another one. Well, that was pretty painless. Bit of the old tyre soap and everything just basically pushed together. I had to knock the pins in, but ready to go back in the car. Just chuck it in. What's the time? 4 o'clock. Yeah, I need to pull my finger out. Sunday too. There she all is, back in situ. You can see the bushes there. There's the diff, there's the back one. I haven't swapped those over yet, but yeah, I'll do that. So, not a bad little project for a Sunday when you're doing something else. Now, I've stitched up the guards, as you can see. I mean, it needs a little bit more down here. Wow, compound curve onto a compound curve. That wasn't fun. But we've got both sides done now. I'm actually driving it around. I've had a couple of people say, leave it blackened. No, don't those giant number plates look horrible? Anyway, we should have the other ones this week. What other project am I working on? It involves this stuff. And some springs. And an engine mount. Sprocket. Air filter. Let's call it the Pikachu Dixon. Something that's annoyed me since I got this is the aerial was broken. You think, let's put another aerial in it. They have problems, okay, and here is the majority of it. Looks like a normal sized boot, right? Wrong. That's a standard Coles or Woolies shopping bag. when you do your shopping, you've got to lay it all down. Anyway, so the aerial goes in here. It's a hard surface down the bottom. Right. Look, here's my 6-inch rule, right? As you can see, there's bugger all room. All right, even a standard aerial won't fit in there. But I went and saw the people at Sound Labs, and they put me onto a little aerial that they don't think is going to fit either, but I reckon I can get in there. Now you can do just a fixed aerial, but like, where's the fun in that? What this thing is an electric aerial, and like that is a little deceiving because the floor actually rises here. There's the floor, and it actually goes up in that corner there. So, but I think with a little bit of fettling and maybe twisting some stuff around and maybe cutting some bits off of it and put this electric motor so it sits on the outside of this panel and the aerial part goes up on the inside. Maybe, like Cappuccino boys, pay attention. If I can get this sucker in without too much trouble, this is the go. All right, while we're here, I thought I might show you just how much thought's gone into these little things. So I've told you in the past that the roof comes off and it does all sorts of stuff, but they go into bags and they actually fit in the boot, but they have to be done in a specific order and a specific orientation to fit in. Gizmo on top of the jack here, so that the roof panels can sit on there. You know, and the boot's been very carefully shaped so that all this stuff fits. And you even get instructions on the roof bag. See, this is how you put them in. So they're actually held in with these little clips here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Really hard to do one-handed. This whole panel just comes up. Now I've got to carefully put it into the bag and put it into the boot, which I can't do one-handed. It's impossible. So what I was thinking of doing is swapping these guys up to here and then put the parking lights down in there, so my indicator is actually up here. Because I mean, you're not going to be you can have the fog lights on without having the high beam on. I don't know if it's doable yet. I need to get in there and have a look. But also Trung's doing the paint for us and welding up the guards, because we've sliced the inner and outer. I've bent the inner up, but they need to be welded together. The fronts, I need to come up with little strut systems. We're going to just fiddle around and do some little bits and pieces on it. I've debadged the back. I've got to get this one off the front too, because we'll put something else on there. I'm not 100% sure yet, but see how we go. Also, Miles, the man of many talents, did me a badge in the form of Viperccino RT3. They were a Viper RT10. That's because they had 10 cylinders. This doesn't, only has 3. There, perhaps, maybe a smaller version. I was talking to Ben about this, Ben from BCW, and he said you should get an original Dodge badge and add a Y. So this one is basically on hold until we can get some paint on it. Definitely going to be red with the fat white stripes up over the roof, red roll bar. So it actually looks like the original, you know, with the 3-spoke. Actually looks like Ben's car. So we're going to get the colour code off Benny's car and paint the same colour. So the only real difference between this and a first gen Viper is going to be the fat white stripes. It's so much fun to drive. Maybe we'll put the, I don't know, did I show you that? Go fast bits, boost controller. And there's the diff still to do, the limited slip diff we've got to go in there, and the belts. I've got a Dizzy Cat and rotor button, seems to be running fine in the meantime. We'll give it another oil change because it hasn't had one in a while. It's only done about 3,000 Ks. I've been dailying it, it's so much fun to drive. You know, your old van, I was going to drive that home, but honestly, this thing is too much fun. And the air conditioning works really well because it's such a small cabin. Better than this, because this just, like if you had it blocked off behind the driver's seats, it'd be fine, but it's not. Goes up down the freeway, does 110, it's quite happy, uses bugger all fuel, even when you're driving like an idiot, which you tend to do. It's one of those cars. you don't really have to slow down for roundabouts if you're going straight through. You just, man, it's like, because it's so small and light, it changes direction so quickly and easily. I did actually try some different tires. I have a nice sticky Dunlop 185 60/14 on the back, and I tried them on the front and they absolutely would not fit. So we're back to the Eco 165s on there now. I could run the 185s, but what I'd have to do is actually make the inside of the wheel an inch wider so it pulls the tire in, because this just fits in here because of the offset. To get the 185 on there, 185 is about the same height as a 165 65. 185 60 is about the same height, but I need to pull that inner edge inwards. So if you know what I mean, I need to pull the inside of the wheel in, which pulls the tire across, and I end up with it roughly at the same size here, same place there. So, and it won't, the problem is it's hitting the firewall. I don't know whether I'll do that with this wheel. May make a new set of wheels for it, but like, that'll be later on. It's got wheels on it now, it's quite happy. Good on you. See you next time.